NC State at Clemson. What a big game for the ACC. Clemson minus 20.5 point favorites. Man, that is a high number. Those are some numbers from like the 20 teens Clemson, especially against an ACC opponent. So that's a lot of points Clemson's getting at home, and it's a noon game. Obviously, there's been a lot that's happened with these two teams. We've seen NC State get absolutely blown out and dusted by Tennessee, and we've seen Clemson get blown out and dusted by Georgia. Both teams are fantastic. I think Georgia and Tennessee are amongst the top teams in the country. So no shame in losing to them, but they both got their asses kicked playing both of them. And it's very different how these two have responded. Like Clemson came out and just stomped App State. Now they hit a bye week and then now face NC State. Whereas NC State has really kind of struggled, no matter who they played. They were struggling against Western Carolina as well. And Grayson McCall is hurt. He's not going to be in the game. But they now have C.J. Bailey, who actually it might not be all that bad in terms of a drop off from Grayson McCall. I think C.J. Bailey is actually pretty decent. So they're going to have a lot on their plate with the Tigers. Do I trust Cade in a spot like this, and do I trust Garrett Riley in this offense to just be like, okay, what we saw with App, that's what we're going to expect moving forward? No, I don't trust that. Can it happen? Absolutely. But I've also seen Cade the past couple of years and what he's looked like and what this offense has looked like, and it has not been all that great. So I think it could go revert back. Obviously, Vegas doesn't think so. Vegas thinks that Clemson has kind of like found their niche, and they could be rolling because they have them at 3 touchdown favorites pretty much, obviously at home. So we'll see how that happens for Clemson offensively. They also are maybe a little thin on defense. I'm not sure about Peter Woods, but obviously he's a pretty important piece to that defense. And on the edge, they are not as deep as they normally are. Now, NC State on offense, they have been pretty poor, and they've been much worse than what we had expected and hoped for NC State coming into the season. Because you had those receivers, you had Collins, and you have Kevin Concepcion, and you brought in Grayson McCall from Coastal, and be like, yeah, these are going to be our guys here, and offensively, it just really hasn't worked out for them, especially in the pass game. And their defense has also taken a step back. Obviously, they lost Peyton Wilson, who was just an absolute freak. And now they're just, I think they're under Dave Dorn, they're always going to have a pretty solid defense. They're well coached, but I don't think they're as good as they used to be in the past. So. This is going to be an awesome matchup. So it's going to, these are two still, part of the favorites of the ACC. So it'll be important to see who comes out with the win here. But, I am not betting this game. But if I were, I would probably lean NC State plus 20.5. I need to see more data in more games where Clemson has an offense that can just blow somebody off the field and where it doesn't look like it's a game from the beginning. In an in-conference game, especially against a team, NC State, who has beat them 2 of the last 3 years. So I think it'll be a good matchup. So, but if I'm not betting, but if I were, I would say NC State plus 20.5. Follow Big Body Ball CFB on all socials.